Budgeting, they say it's the key to financial freedom. But if that's true, why are most Americans still drowning in debt? Why do so many people follow the rules, cut subscriptions, skip lattes, build spreadsheets, and still fall short every month? What if I told you the system was never designed for you to win? In today's video, we're peeling back the layers of hidden history, uncovering how budgeting became a trap, and, most importantly, how you can flip the script to take back control in an era of inflation and instability. Part 1, budgeting was never meant for the poor. When we think of budgeting today, we picture spreadsheets, envelope systems, maybe a slick app telling us where our paycheck went. It all feels logical, neutral, like a basic life skill. But what if budgeting wasn't always meant to help you? What if it was never designed for people living paycheck to paycheck? Let's rewind the clock. In the early 1900s, the word budget had a totally different meaning. It wasn't about cutting costs or scraping by. It was a tool for the wealthy and powerful, corporate executives, landowners, political elites. They used budgets to allocate excess. How much to invest in stocks, how much to spend on lavish parties, how much to hide from taxes. It was a way to control wealth, not survive poverty. There was no budgeting class for coal miners, factory workers, or immigrant families trying to make rent in overcrowded tenements. Why? Because they didn't have enough to budget. Now fast forward to post-World War II America, the 1950s and 60s. The economy was booming for some. But as more Americans entered the consumer age, banks and corporations saw an opportunity. That's when budgeting advice started to show up in magazines, TV segments, and women's homemaking manuals. But here's the twist. This advice wasn't designed to liberate working-class families. It was laced with moral judgment. If you're broke, it's your fault. Stop eating out. You just need more discipline. What it didn't mention was the reality on the ground. Wages weren't keeping up with inflation. Black families were being redlined out of wealth. Women were expected to manage household budgets with no income of their own. But perhaps the most revealing detail, many of the first personal finance experts, the ones writing columns and giving talks, were funded by banks and credit companies. They encouraged families to track spending and live within their means, while promoting credit cards, store financing, and eventually subprime loans. So while they were preaching fiscal responsibility, they were also fueling a culture of debt. Sound familiar? Because that's the same playbook being used today. They tell you to budget harder while raising your rent, lowering your benefits, and flooding your inbox with buy now, pay later. Part 2, who profits when you can't budget? Let's stop pretending this is just a you problem. Because when you're struggling to budget, falling behind on bills, juggling side hustles, swiping credit cards to cover groceries, someone somewhere is getting paid. And spoiler, it's not you. Let's break it down, banks. Every time your account dips below zero, cha-ching, that's a $35 overdraft fee. And don't worry, if you miss that first fee, they'll happily charge you another one in 48 hours. Some banks made over $10 billion in overdraft and non-sufficient funds fees in a single year. Your financial pain, their quarterly profit, credit card companies. You fall behind on a $500 balance, and suddenly you're paying 22% interest on a burrito you ate 3 weeks ago. Late payment, there's a fee for that. Want to talk to a rep? Hold, please, while we offer you more credit. The system is designed to keep you revolving, not resolving, because carrying debt equals more money for them. Millions daily. Landlords, late on rent, that's another $50 $100 tacked on. Eviction threats come fast, but maintenance requests move slow. And don't forget, rents have risen faster than wages for 20-plus years. It's not about affordability, it's about extracting every last dime. You're not just a tenant, you're a cash stream, even budgeting apps. You thought the apps were your friends, right? Guess again. Many free budgeting tools make money by selling your data, spending habits, debt levels, income patterns, to advertisers, lenders, and marketers. The same system that promises to help you save is quietly packaging you as a consumer profile, auctioned off to the highest bidder. So yeah, budgeting might feel broken, but for the people behind the curtain, it's working perfectly. Here's the uncomfortable truth: your struggle is profitable. The longer you live paycheck to paycheck, the more they earn, more interest, more fees, more data to exploit. This isn't just bad luck or poor choices. It's a well-oiled machine, built to extract, built to blame, built to make you feel like the failure while they cash in. So when they say just budget better, ask yourself, are they helping you, or are they just protecting the system? It's because your brain is trying to survive, not strategize. The scarcity trap. Behavioral economists call it the scarcity trap. Here's how it works. When you don't have enough money, time, food, safety, your mind goes into emergency mode. You become hyper-focused on the most immediate crisis. Can I make rent this week? Will my card decline at the grocery store? How am I gonna get gas before payday? This tunnel vision consumes your attention, your patience, your energy. And it shrinks your cognitive bandwidth, meaning you literally have less mental capacity for long-term planning. So when someone says, just make a budget, track every expense, build a 6-month emergency fund, that's like telling someone in a burning house to focus on feng shui. You're not bad at money. You're just stuck in survival mode, putting out fires every single day. Imagine this. You wake up already behind. Your paycheck hit, but so did the bills. Your car needs repairs. Your kid has a school fee due. You skipped lunch yesterday to make it stretch. Budgeting in this state isn't strategic, it's triage. You're not deciding between saving for retirement or investing in the stock market. You're deciding between prescription meds and keeping the lights on. Traditional advice assumes you have margin, a buffer. But in the scarcity trap, every dollar has a job, and most of those jobs are urgent. The mental tax of being broke. Study after study shows that poverty taxes your brain. In one experiment, low-income participants performed worse on IQ tests after being reminded of financial stress, sometimes by as much as 13 points. That's the cognitive equivalent of missing a full night's sleep. So next time someone tells you to just budget better, remember, your brain isn't broken. The system is. And trying to budget your way out of poverty without structural change is like trying to bail out a sinking boat with a paper cup. Underwater, not unwilling. When you tell someone stuck in the scarcity trap to build wealth, it sounds like this. Just start swimming. But they're already underwater. What they really need isn't advice. It's air, room to breathe. A system that gives space, not shame. Part 4, so how do you budget in 2025? Let's be honest, budgeting in 2025 is nothing like it was even 5 years ago. Gas is up. Rent is wild. Groceries feel like a luxury. Your paycheck disappears faster than you can blink, and all the budgeting advice online. It feels like it's written for people with 6-figure incomes and no kids. So here's the truth. Real budgeting today isn't about perfection. It's about adaptability in a rigged game. Forget perfection. Focus on flow. Your budget is not a holy contract. It's not a punishment. It's a living document, and yes, some months will absolutely suck. Unexpected car repair. Surprise medical bill? Yeah, life happens. Instead of chasing the perfect month, chase the flow. Where's your money actually going? Is it aligned with your values and priorities? Because it's not about guilt. It's about awareness without shame. 2. Use cash for pain points. Everyone's got a spending black hole. Maybe it's DoorDash. Maybe it's Amazon. Maybe it's the Target run where you go in for toothpaste and come out $130 later. Here's the hack. Go old school, use cash. Withdraw what you can afford to spend in that category. When it's gone, no overdraft, no oops. You'll be amazed how fast you start thinking twice. Cash isn't just money. It's friction, and friction slows down impulsive spending. 3. Budget by priority, not category. Forget slicing your money into 27 categories with color-coded charts. Start with your non-negotiables. Rent, food, transportation, childcare, then work backwards. Ask, what can I live without this month? What do I actually need right now? Minimalism is powerful, not just in your closet, but in your finances. 4. Automate the essentials. Set it and forget it, seriously. The less your money depends on daily willpower, the better. Automate, rent or mortgage. Utilities, minimum debt payments, savings, even $10 counts. Why? Because life gets hectic, emergencies distract, and forgetting one bill can snowball into fees, stress, and credit damage. Automation protects you from, well, you. 5. Track pain, not pennies. Don't obsess over every $2 coffee. That's a distraction. Instead, track where money causes you emotional pain, that sinking feeling when rent is due, the regret after every food delivery, the anxiety checking your account after a weekend. That's where your budget needs a system, not more shame. Because shame doesn't pay bills, strategy does. You're not failing because you're bad with money. You're struggling because you've never been shown a system that works for people like you, people with tight paychecks, real responsibilities, and no financial cushion. Forget what the influencers say. Real budgeting in 2025 is messy, imperfect, but powerful when you focus on what actually works. Part 5, what if they designed it this way? All right, let's go there. Let's entertain a conspiracy theory for 2025, one that might sound crazy until you look at the receipts. What if all this budgeting advice isn't actually meant to help you? What if it's a distraction, not a tool for financial freedom, but a smoke screen? A way to keep you focused on your spending while quietly ignoring their hoarding. Think about it. Everywhere you turn, they're telling you to cancel your Netflix, stop ordering takeout, buy off-brand cereal, clip digital coupons like it's 2008. All while the cost of living skyrockets, wages stay frozen, and the richest 1% add trillions to their net worth during a pandemic. While you're sweating over your grocery bill, CEOs are getting tax breaks for private jets. While you're skipping a $5 coffee, Wall Street is playing with your 401k like a slot machine. Doesn't it seem intentional? A system built on distraction. Here's the game. They keep you focused on personal responsibility, so you never ask about systemic accountability. Because if everyone's just bad with money, then no one has to explain why. Healthcare is unaffordable. Childcare costs more than rent, and education can leave you in debt for life. Budgeting becomes a guilt trip, not a solution. It's easier to blame yourself than confront the truth. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. Follow the incentives. Why do they push budgeting so hard? Because it shifts the spotlight off of them, off the corporations outsourcing jobs, off the politicians deregulating everything, off the industries lobbying to keep wages low and profits high. If you're too busy juggling envelopes and obsessing over cash-stuffing TikToks, you're too tired to organize, too burned out to protest, too broke to take a risk. Budgeting becomes the modern opiate, just structured enough to keep you compliant. So maybe it's not just about money. Maybe the real budgeting crisis was never just financial. Maybe it was always political, systemic, historical, a long game designed to keep people docile, divided, and distracted. What if they didn't want you to succeed? Just survive, but now you know. And once you see the strings, you don't unsee them. People juggling bills, side hustles, and rising rent. It was never built for us. This system was designed to keep us chasing stability while blaming ourselves for the chaos they created. But now you know the hidden history, you see the strings. And when you understand the game, you can stop playing by their rules. It's time to stop internalizing the shame. Stop asking, what's wrong with me? Start asking, who benefits when I stay stuck? If this video hit home, like it, share it. Send it to someone who's tired of being told they're the problem when the deck's been stacked from the start. And drop a comment below. What's the one part of your budget that drives you crazy? Is it rent, food, medical debt? The price of just existing? Let's talk about it, let's name it, and let's start breaking the cycle together. Because once we stop blaming ourselves, we start building power.